Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. I've come this week along to a place called Torphichen, which is just kind of behind the camera over there, and I'm going to go down to a place called Lochcote Reservoir, which, if you recall, I was down here photographing a sunset maybe back in November, December, something like that. I'll put a link up wherever, one of these corners. You'll see it, one of these cards. So yeah, I was here this time last year, or that time last year, and got a picture of Kip's Hill. But today we're not here to get the hills, we're here for the flowers, because here be bluebells. So that is what we're going to photograph. So, spent all of lockdown complaining that we were stuck in West Lothian, which we weren't until just a few weeks ago, and now I'm back in West Lothian again. Just excuse me while I get through these gates here. I've come here to photograph something that I couldn't photograph at all through the winter, which, oops, try not to fall over, which is all the bluebells which are in the woods up here along the side of the path. Quite a lot of them. So that's what I've got to photograph. Anyway, yeah, press on, see what we can find. Well, I have arrived already. Normally I try and give you a bit of kind of philosophy or background or something like that, but on this occasion it ain't going to happen, because the walk from the car, actually it's been quite a long walk from the car, a fairly dull walk from the car, if I'm being absolutely honest, but we're here now anyway. It was actually, full credit, I didn't spot this particular shot, my wife did, and she said, get yourself down there, the bluebells are lovely. Because if you recall, last week I missed the bluebells because I arrived along at Lochcote and I was going to climb to Maya because there's loads of lovely bluebells in the woods up there. But of course it was evening and the bluebells were all shut, so that would have been a pretty rubbish photo. So I've come here instead, which is not too far from where I live. But so I've come here, and I shall try and get these bluebells instead. Right, on with this very shot here. So what I'm going to do now is take you through how I actually go about finding the composition. I mean, we've got our basic shot here, we want the shot along the rocks, but I need to kind of fine tune it, you know? So that's what I'll let you see me doing. Now, what I'm looking at here, I really want to get, if I stand back, this big rock, this big green rock here in the foreground. Might want to catch this rock here as well. The bluebells are down, I don't know how easily you can see them there. Can you even see me pointing? Yes, you can. The bluebells are down here, so hopefully we'll get them in the picture too, because that's what I came here to take pictures of. And then we've got the kind of framing of these branches, these trees at the top. So I think we're probably looking here at a portrait shot. So I'll hold the camera like that, okay, and I'll put the camera on like that, so as you can see me, and that's you looking back at me. There we are. Who's that handsome chap? Right. So yeah, I'll take you through the composition process. So what I'm going to do, if I bend down here, pull that back ever so slightly, and we're probably looking at, oh, I've got the camera the other way around, that's better, somewhere round about. Maybe I need to come back a bit, because I want to get, like I said, I want to get this rock in here, I want to get this rock in here, and I want to get the bluebells over here, as well as some of this tree here. So if I just move back, try not to fall over, About maybe there. Yeah, something like that should do it. There or thereabouts. Okay, so I'm going to suggest that I'm roughly there, 2 feet off the ground. Don't know if you can even see me there, but that's where I am. So I'm going to switch that movie off now. And I know roughly where I'm supposed to be, so let me just attach my tripod here. Let me just attach the camera on, like that. Okay, and like I said, so we're going for about 2 feet off the ground, so I'll switch you off just now while I get this set up, and I'll join you again in a minute. So I've got the camera set up at pretty much the same kind of level as I was at just a minute ago when I was setting it up there. Let me just stick on the movie so you can see what I'm looking at now. You can see we've got the big rock, like I said, in the foreground here. I'm sitting on the rule of thirds, so that rock is sitting on the rule of thirds there. We've got the bluebells over here sitting on the other rule of thirds. We've got the rocks forming a kind of leading line leading across this way. And again, the trees are kind of falling across this way as well. So everything's kind of pushing across the picture like that. So that's that. I do like that shot. Let's say it is a nice simple one to start with. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to take next, but I imagine it's going to involve bluebell somewhere down the line. So let me just switch the movie off again, like that, and I shall turn up my aperture. I'll go for about f8, something like that, and I'm going to focus on the bluebells themselves, I think. Let me just go for that. There's a rock about a third away into the picture. I'm focusing on that, just where the bluebells are, down at the bottom. Okay, so that's that. All set up, ready to grab the shot. 1, 2, 3, click. So I've moved around just a little bit. I was just back there just a wee bit when I took that last picture, so I've moved along and up a tad, and I'm going to try for a close-up of some bluebells with some nice kind of low depth feel, so everything in the background is blurred. So here we go. I'm looking at these ones just down here. I'll stick on the movie so you'll see it there somewhere. Alright, so there we go. That is what I'm looking at just now. So, and as you can see, I was going to pull it into focus there, but it's done that all by its very, very self. Now I'm going to turn my aperture up just a little bit, just to try and get some of them just a wee bit deeper in there. So I'm at 6.3, which is probably a wee bit better, so that some of the bluebells up the back here are now in focus, which they weren't before, so that's quite nice. I'm going to leave it at that. So I'll switch the movie off, and yep, and I shall quickly, before it goes out of focus, grab the picture. Click. Well, when my wife was telling me about this place where I could go and photograph bluebells, what she completely failed to mention was that I would need to, or find myself wading knee deep through bramble bushes, which they're a bit kind of thorny. So I'm going to make this the last shot of the day because my legs are lacerated. So yeah, we'll grab the shot now, like this. I'm looking back up at the rocks again, so if I just switch on that so as you can see it, and if I turn my aperture down again so as you can see it, there we go, right. I'm just wanting to get a kind of carpet of bluebells looking right up at the rocks at the back, like that. I'm having to change the focus here so that you can see the different elements, but once I bring that up, I'm in f4 just so the picture's not too dark, but I'm going to bring it up to make it darker. I'll switch it off just now, and I want to get the whole lot in focus more or less. I'm looking at round about 50 mils or so, and I'm going to go for f13 there or thereabouts, which should get pretty much everything in focus. Right, so there's no composition or anything like that. It's just a sea of bluebells, rocks in the background. That's it. No rule of thirds, no nothing. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I'm in focus, which I am, particularly on the bluebells, which I am. And 1, 2, 3, click. Right, well, I'm going to call it a night at that. I think I've got, what, 3 or 4 shots now? Something like that, which is enough to be getting on with. You haven't heard much in the way of rambling from me this time, which is probably a bonus for you. So, yeah, call it a night at that. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please, as I always say, please like, please subscribe. Please click the little bell icon, which I've reviewed things. I'm certain now it's in that corner down there. It just looks like the other corner on that camera. So hopefully I'm pointing in the right direction this time. Ping, ping, ping. Right. Yeah. So yeah, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave me some comments. Do you like the pictures? What do you think of the pictures? More flower ones? Less flower ones? Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, that's that. Call it a night at that. Bye for now. Cheers.